Well, there's the background on what was going on for consumers this weekend and the economy. We're joined now by Dr. Audrey Gusky, who is a consumer marketing analyst at Duquesne University School of Business. Dr. Gusky, welcome to the program. How are you?
Morning, Chris. I'm great. How are you doing?
All right. Have you had a chance to analyze what went on this weekend, and has it been overall good for the economy in terms of consumers coming to the rescue of the economy?
Right. I have been keeping track of it, and Black Friday sales were pretty strong, which is surprising because we are predicting that the whole holiday shopping season is going to be rather weak. But consumers went out there in droves, spent lots of money, and made retailers pretty happy this holiday season. But keep in mind, as the package that you just showed said, that's only a small bit of all the retail shopping. And the fact that consumers have less days in between Thanksgiving and Christmas is going to be a big deal. And so consumers need to get out there and spend a lot of money all the time in order to hit some, at least keep sales even as they were last year. Because I don't think we're even going to make that, because from all the research that I've done and all the studies that I've looked at, consumers are saying, 93% are saying they're going to spend the same or even less than they did last year. September and October sales fell. They were at record lows, falling almost 3%. And so you put all these factors together, people are concerned about their jobs, job security, their economic situation. So I think sales are going to be, believe it or not, the first time in 53 years, less than they were last year, and that's in real dollars. So that's a huge blow to retailers.
Well, if sales are less because of all those reasons that you cited, then that means the economy is going to slow down. But I often hear conflicting advice from people about the economy. They say we're supposed to shop and drive the economy and that sort of stuff, but they tell us that as Americans we have some of the lowest savings rates that they are. Do we really need all these gadgets that are made worldwide, not even made in America? How much does it help?
You bring up some very, very good points. You're exactly right. The consumer market does drive the economy. So the less consumers are spending, the economy is just going to keep sinking lower and lower and become weaker and weaker. The problem is, as individuals, if you keep spending money, we are in debt more than any other country. We are in debt more than we should be as individual consumers. And so my advice to shoppers this holiday season is don't spend a lot of money. You have to save because you have to keep your own personal household levels in a healthy range. And so the fact that people then aren't going to be spending is going to and the retail season being as weak as it's going to be, would suggest that the economy is going to be struggling as we hit 2009.
Well, that's a real catch-22 that consumers are caught in, isn't it?
It is definitely a catch-22, because the problem is if they don't spend, then the economy doesn't get pumped up, and as a result, it sinks lower, and consumers overall are in a worse situation. But at this point, you don't want to put your family's household budget into any kind of jeopardy. And so I think we're just going to have to get through the Christmas shopping season. It's going to be bleak for retailers, but that's just the way it's going to be. And I think overall, 2009, for at least the first couple of months, is going to be rather weak. But I think after a while it'll start kicking in again, and we'll get into a healthy range.
There are some places in the economy for consumers that the news is good. For instance, the price of gas is falling. Do you think that that had anything to do with spurring people to get out and thinking things may just be a little bit better now in the economy?
I think that might be part of it. I think the fact that gas prices were down a little bit helped consumers and gave them a little bit of confidence. Keep in mind, Black Friday is a tradition for many families. You eat turkey on Thursday, you shop on Friday. And so what happened is a lot of people typically go into the stores. Keep in mind there were a lot more shoppers in the stores than were spenders. A lot of people were looking, and I hit a couple of the malls on Friday and found that and on Saturday as well, a lot of the people shopping really didn't have a lot of bags, so they were spending a little bit of money, but not in the large amounts that retailers were hoping for. So I think overall, we don't want to be deceived that Black Friday sales were stronger than we expected, because I think retailers are going to be struggling. That's bad news for the retailers. However, it's great news for consumers, because what we find is there's lots of bargains, lots of sales. There have been. Black Friday had huge promotions. That's why people were spending, and people are going to continue to buy these deals and these bargains. In a sense, cheap is chic this holiday season, and there's nothing wrong with getting things on sale, and people are going to be proud of that.
Tell me about Cyber Monday. That concept is relatively new to me, and I try to keep up with things, but I had no idea that the internet sales were as high as they are. Some of those deals will be extended to today?
Yes, absolutely. Today is Cyber Monday. It's only been around since 2005, and so it's only about 3 or 4 years old. And the reason for it, Chris, is what we found is a lot of people did not go shopping on Black Friday or over the weekend, or even if they did, they still are looking for some items. And so Monday's the first day back at work, and people, instead of trying to get caught up at work, a lot of times they're doing some shopping online. And so we found,
I imagine employers might frown on that a little bit, huh?
I would think they do, but well, that's the way it is. People are going to be shopping, and retailers know that. And so you probably have about 72% of online merchandisers having promotions today, which is huge. So the fact that consumers are looking to spend some money today online, and retailers are offering huge promotions, I think we're going to see a lot of people shopping online. And keep in mind, too, in addition to buy one, get one frees and discounts and different promotional codes, there's a lot of free shipping out there, which is what consumers enjoy. And so they're going to definitely take advantage of it today and do some heavy purchasing on Cyber Monday.
Well, that brings up the whole issue of how long will these deals go on? Will there be a Walker's Tuesday or something, for people like me who are adverse to shopping on the internet? Will there be extended deals, I guess is the question, that go throughout this shopping season before Christmas?
There will definitely be extended deals. There's going to be lots of bargains, lots of sales. What we're finding is a lot of consumers are waiting till the last minute because they're hoping to have these phenomenal bargains. My advice to shoppers out there is be careful, though, because the inventories are relatively low. And so if you wait till the last minute, chances are you may not get the items that you want. So if there's a particular item that you're looking for, a hot toy, something for your kids, something for one of your loved ones that you have to have, I would say get it sooner rather than later. But overall, I'm a last-minute shopper, I have to admit, and by waiting till the last minute, I get a lot of great bargains and discounts.
Okay, now I don't know if this falls into your bailiwick or not, but I'm sure you've heard the case in Walmart somewhere in New England where somebody got run over by 2,000 shoppers who were waiting in line. They actually crashed through the door and trampled this man to death. I'm all in favor of getting a bargain, but where's the restraint here? Is it necessary to go that all out as a shopper? Are we thinking about Thanksgiving and giving thanks for what a great country we live in and how many blessings we have when we become that kind of shopper? It seems to me that's just pure greed. I don't know if that's the right word. I wonder what you think.
Yeah, that was a very, very sad situation. And I think, unfortunately, what probably happened is it was very chaotic. The doors open and everyone, as you said, was greedy, desperate to get all these blockbuster, doorbuster items that the stores offer as the stores were opening at 4 and 5 in the morning. And it was just an unfortunate accident. But it is a bad sign of the times that people are that desperate to go after these bargains and these steals because money is really tight this holiday season. And, we always have to keep in mind the true spirit of Christmas and what it's all about. And in ways, a lot of times you may almost think of this tough economy as being a blessing in disguise for our society because it's making a lot of people realize that it's not how much you give and how much you spend on gifts, but it's the true spirit of the Christ child being born. And, people are getting back to family, they're getting back to basics, they're getting back to the true values of family life and the spirit of Christmas. And so I think that's a good thing in a way. But situations like this where there's a tragedy, that was just really too bad.
Yeah, I don't know what the price of frankincense and myrrh is nowadays, but I see in the paper that the price for that song, The 12 Days of Christmas, if you were to give all the gifts, it costs you close to 90 grand to get it done.
Yeah, so I'm thinking a lot of people aren't going to be doing that with a partridge in the pear tree this year, Chris. But, you bring up a good point that, with the holiday shopping season and prices have gone up and escalated over time, but, shoppers are still going to be out there buying. They're still going to be spending things. They're still going to be buying gifts. It's just a matter of they're not going to be spending as much. And an interesting thing for all of our listeners to be aware of, too, is gift cards, believe it or not, are going down in popularity. They have been increasing over the past couple of years significantly, 5 and 10% increases in sales. What's happening this year is a lot of shoppers are concerned those retailers may not be around. They're also concerned that they could, with the economy being so tough, I can get a $50 sweater and get it for $25 on sale. But if I buy a gift certificate, I have to spend $50. And so a lot of people are finding they get more bang for their buck and better presents if they actually buy merchandise.
You know, I need your advice on this one. I got a gift card once for speaking to a group of students. So someone just handed me, and I think it was about $25 was the value of it, and that was fine. And I walked into the house and gave it to my wife and said, "This is what I got for speaking to these students. We should go out to dinner and use it sometime or something." She said, "Okay," and promptly filed it away. And we found it later and said, "Oh, we could use this." And we went to use it, and the value was gone. I think gift cards are one of the biggest ripoffs. They take $250 a week or a month out of the doggone thing. If you never use it, the value is gone. It looks like a way for industry to make money, or retailers to make money off people who don't use them or forget about them, or some people never use these things, do they?
Well, that's exactly right. You have to be very careful because a lot of the malls and a lot of the restaurants will decrease in value a couple bucks every month. You have to read the fine print, but chances are most gift cards never expire. There's no law that says that, but typically most retailers and restaurants will honor that. So if I was you, I'd go back to that place and say, "Hey, wait a minute. You know, I think you should honor this," and maybe give them a little bit of a hard time. See if it works.
I'm not going. It was a surprise gift anyway. I'm not going to worry about it, to tell you the truth. I should have used it before. But I guess when you give gift cards, there's something that, as you say, you should read the fine print, whether you're a recipient or the giver, because the stories I read about them, it seems to me they're a lost leader for most consumers.
That's exactly right. We found that about 10% of all gift cards are never redeemed. So in a sense, it's not a gift a lot of times for the person who's receiving it. It's a gift for the retailer themselves.
All right, 412-333-PCNC is our number. Can you stay with us one more segment?
Absolutely can, yeah, thanks.
All right, we've got some calls. People want to talk to you. Again, 412-333-PCNC. Should we go out and spend and drive the economy? Is it patriotic? Or are you going to sit back like me and put some more money in savings? What will you do? What will you do? It's important to our nation. We'll take your calls next on Hansberger Live. Dr. Audrey Guskey is our guest. She is a consumer marketing analyst at Duquesne University's School of Business. We're ready to take your calls at 412-333-PCNC. Let's go to the phones and talk to Paul first. Paul, hello.
Hi, Chris. Usually, again, there's always a death involved whenever I call you. Usually it's a shooting death. But I think this whole thing at Walmart is kind of indicative of how we've become as a society in general. Not necessarily because this was bargains or greed. No one wants to wait for anything. You know, we've talked, the kids don't want to go to school and work their way up, so they get, if they want things, they take them, or they get involved in crime, or everybody's looking for the fast. I don't, even if it wasn't discounts or sales, it just seems no one wants to wait for anything anymore.
Well, do you put that all on the consumer, or do you think the retailer has some responsibility in managing crowds like this in a more respectful manner? I've heard stories of some retailers only letting in 25 people at a time instead of just opening the doors to a mad rush.
Again, I would think that they would know how to do this by now. I'm always taken back to the incident where the kids were trampled at the concert in Cincinnati by the Who. You know, these concerts happen, but that one was mismanaged. You would think malls, retailers would know how to manage this, but I just can't imagine people but people are just in such a hurry for everything anymore that they would actually even contemplate something like that.
Dr. Guskey, do you know if retailers are trained for that kind of stuff? Is it the local police's responsibility to show up every time there's a sale to manage behavior of the crowds?
Yeah, Paul brings up some very good points for the fact that we're an instant gratification society, and that's exactly true. I'm not quite sure who would be responsible. It may be different for different types of malls and retailers, but I would think the majority of the responsibility would fall on the retailers as far as having some kind of order and structure to it. Passing out numbers is a good way to do that, so the first 25 get to come in, or the first 50 get to come in, so that it's not as chaotic, everyone pushing and shoving and literally being injured. I mean, we heard of one death. How many other people were injured in a lot of the other stores across the country? I'm sure the retailers try to keep this very, very quiet and below the radar.
All right, Mary Ann, hello. Welcome to the program.
Well, good morning, sir. I'm calling in regards to products that are made overseas.
Okay.
Why aren't there any products made in the United States anymore? I think it would be, we had better quality when they were made in the United States. The product was perfect. I think it worked better. Our economy would rise because all the money would stay within the United States. Wages and employment would rise. I just don't understand why we have to go overseas to have anything built when we have enough people here with the knowledge and the education to be able to do the same work as they do.
Well, the answer is easy, Mary Ann. It may not be easy for us as workers here in America, but for the people who manufacture the goods, the answer is the bottom line and price. Dr. Gusky, isn't that the case?
That's exactly right. And, Marianne, they're outsourcing a lot of things. The labor's cheaper other places. The resources are cheaper. As a result, it was the bottom line. As Chris said, it's the American way. We're trying to save money, and there were a lot of other alternatives and outlets and places to go. And as a result, we closed a lot of our local and national manufacturing plants, and it's hard to open them up, and we just outpriced ourselves out of the market, and it is unfortunate.
But Dr. Gusky, Mary Ann does bring up a point that goes to NAFTA and GATT and all these international agreements. It is the bottom line. We know that, but companies that used to be American are offshoring, outsourcing, and everything else. And you talk about hurting the economy and keeping it consumer-driven. How can we be a consumer-driven economy if the consumers have no jobs? That's the part I agree with what she was saying.
That's exactly right. It's very frustrating because we've lost so many jobs to overseas as a result of the labor's cheaper there and the resources, raw materials are cheaper. And it's very, very frustrating. And we've lost so many different industries, and unfortunately it's going to get worse before it gets better.
All right, let's go to Champagne. Champagne, hello.
Hello, how are you, Chris?
Okay.
I'm doing good. I have a comment. I am so upset about that man being killed, got stampeded. The guy was at work. All right, it's not like he got shot or he got ran by a car. No, he got stampeded by greedy people. And you're absolutely right. This whole economy now is terrible, but then you got these greedy people that act like they don't know how to act. They were worse than animals. And how about the other guys in California that shot themselves in a toy store? It's crazy. So I can't say, look, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's exactly right.
Don't have any...
All right, hold on, Champagne. Go ahead, Audrey.
I was just going to respond to Champagne that she's exactly right. It's a sad state for our society, and you hate to see something like this happen. And here was a young man in his 30s, so I'm assuming he was healthy, fit, and literally knocked over and trampled. And how could that have happened? I mean, how could people have done that? It's just very sad.
Part of our herd mentality. Colleen, we'll get one more call in. Go ahead. All right, Colleen, we're not there. Doctor, all right, hold on, Colleen. Dr. Gussie, we only have about 30 seconds left. What would your final word be to us? Advice on a consumer-driven economy and what we consumers should do?
Well, my advice to shoppers out there is be like Santa. Make a list and check it twice. Know what you need to buy. Know about how much you want to spend per person. Have your game plan. Check out the sales. Check out the bargains, the discounts. They're there. Take advantage of that. I would say stay within your budget, definitely this holiday season.
Dr. Gusky from Duquesne University School of Business, we appreciate your coming on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. This is Hansberger Live.